So let's talk about Supergirl. Obviously, this movie has had the internet in a bit of a fuss and rampage. A lot of people shitting on it, saying it's trash. Some people, a few people saying it's absolutely great, which I don't know about all that. Let's get to the good things. Let's get to the things that I actually like about this movie. I liked Millie as Supergirl. She acted well enough, given that the script wasn't necessarily the best. She did what she could, and I appreciate that. Same with her and Jason Momoa as Lobo. We have been wanting Jason Momoa as Lobo for like over a decade, and better late than never. Should have been happened, but hey, we got him as Lobo, and I just think his scenes in this movie just really made me feel like, man, I wish this movie was just about him and Supergirl. I wish his part of the story would have carried the movie a little bit more, because he had a chance within the movie to kind of actually make it a bit interesting, but I'll get into that in my more spoiler review of this movie. The emotional weight that Supergirl has, it does make you care about Supergirl specifically. I think her struggles with, dealing with alcoholism, as far as like her drinking a lot, her being around the red sun so she can actually feel drunk, like that makes sense for me. I kind of wish she was more of a depressive drunk rather than a whimsy, clumsy drunk. I feel like that would have made it a little bit more of a serious tone with that aspect, but hey, again, that's just me nitpicking, but I feel like that would have been done better that way. I really didn't like how underpowered she was for most of this movie. She has some moments where she gets into her bag, but she doesn't fully become Supergirl until the end of the movie, and I just really don't like that. I don't want to watch a movie where they have to earn their powers. Like, give them a strong enough villain to make them have to go all out. You shouldn't have to nerf Supergirl for this villain, and I'm gonna get to the villain. Let me get to some of these other parts, man, that I kind of didn't like. The little girl, like the supporting character, the supporting actress, her part of the story didn't really resonate with me. I'm not saying it's not sad, but dude, her family got killed in like 30 seconds. I didn't give a fuck about her family. If you're gonna introduce this girl's family like this, you should have like let us get to know her family a little bit more. Like, they didn't last a second. Like, the villain came in, killed them randomly. The movie just kept going. The movie does not make you give a fuck about this girl's family. Like, sure, it's sad. I'm not saying it's not sad. I think of a better example of this where you have a family that dies is in Logan. The family in Logan, that they're hospitable to Logan and Professor X, and that makes you care when they die. Like, you feel something when that family dies. When her family dies in this movie, it's like, okay, on to the next. I know this movie's based off of a comic book by Tom King, and I'm not gonna front and act like I've read this comic. I've seen some panels, and this movie was nowhere near colorful as this comic was. For all the Guardians of the Galaxy comparisons this movie got, it was nowhere near as colorful as a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And my thing is, if you're going to give that kind of feel based off of the trailers, lean into it. You're already being accused of it, just go ahead and lean into it. And just visually, I didn't get enough of that color. Now let's get to the villain. Dog, this has to be the most forgettable villain I've ever seen in a superhero movie. I cannot think of another villain I just didn't remember. Thor: The Dark World's villain was more memorable than this. Like Malekith. I remember Malekith, right? He wasn't the most exciting. He wasn't the most like compelling villain ever, but I still remember him. This villain, he can blend in with his goons. There was nothing different about him. He wasn't charismatic. He didn't have no personality. There's nothing about his story that made you think about him. There was nothing about his cause that made you think, maybe he has a point. There's nothing. It's literally nothing. Like, this is a sorry ass villain, and it's just like, I hate that you nerfed Supergirl to face this threat. And this guy wasn't a threat at all. I'm not saying every villain has to be a philosopher like Thanos and Ultron, but have something that makes him memorable. I just don't know what the idea was with this movie, because it's just, why is this story the story to introduce Supergirl? They kind of copy and paste it from Superman, whereas, hey, the dog is in trouble, we gotta save the dog. Again, with Crypto being in trouble, like, the only thing that's new about this movie is just that it's Supergirl and how she's a bit more abrasive, she's a bit more tough than Superman, she's not as naive. That's the only thing that's different about this movie to me. This movie made me not like what they did with Superman's parents, even less. With his father sending him to Earth to be like a conqueror, to repopulate Krypton. Like, where did this sentiment necessarily come from? Because Supergirl's dad seemed pretty reasonable. He said, hey, go to Earth and be a protector. I do not like the parents of Superman being like this somewhat Viltrumite idea of, hey, go to Earth and conquer it. Go to Earth and be a good person. That's the Jor-El I know. That's the Superman I grew up on. And most of us have known that Jor-El is a good person. He's not not telling Superman to go conquer Earth. The last thing I wanted to get to with this movie was the end scene, the big fight scene at the end. What they call it now? Y'all got this buzzword for it. A needle drop. You know, a song that you know that plays like on a big scene, like a fight scene at the end of the movie. The song that they chose, it wasn't the song necessarily that was bad. It's the fact that you chose a cover of an already good song. Why not just choose the original song? And the thing about needle drops is not every song is going to fit the scene. You need to make sure the song fits the scene. And I like needle drops. I think it's cool. But if you can't find the right song, just go with a regular movie soundtrack score. Don't just put a random song on there. That song at the end when Supergirl's getting into her bag, it just didn't fit for me, bro. Like, you should have just played the original song, not some goddamn cover. But hey, whatever. The end fight scene with Supergirl was really dope. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that part of the movie, but that song was just like, huh? Like, this is what y'all chose? That's pretty much all I feel about the Supergirl movie. If I'm being honest with you, I give it a 6 out of 10. This movie was not necessarily compelling to me. It wasn't necessarily great. It was just cool. It was mid. I think this movie is still watchable, but it is the middest of mid. I feel kind of bad for Millie Alcock because this is her introduction to Supergirl and she did what she could. When you have a story this weak, these actors and actresses can only do so much. Like, it just makes me wonder who the fuck is in this writer's room, bro. Like, why was this the story to introduce Supergirl? I just don't get it. Like, it was a mess. It was a mess. It had some good moments, but it was a mess. I give this shit a 6, and that's me being nice. I don't go into movies hoping they do bad. I don't go into movies with a bad mindset like, oh, this is gonna suck. No, I go in with an open mind. But as much as I was trying to like save this movie in my own head, I just couldn't deny that this wasn't the best story to introduce Supergirl. It just wasn't, man. It just wasn't. James Gunn, we are not stupid. I hate that we have to tell you that, but we're not stupid. What do you mean this is one of the best scripts that you've read? Like, I get you gotta promote a movie and you can't shit on it, but I would have rather you not say nothing at all. Don't mislead people. And you did it with Flash by saying Flash was one of the best superhero movies ever. The fuck? We need to have an honest discussion about James Gunn without you fanboys getting in your goddamn emotions about it. Can we be honest about him? It's the same thing with Zack Snyder fanboys. You can't say nothing about Zack Snyder without you fanboys getting so butthurt. I think the James Gunn stock, a lot of y'all have overinflated James Gunn stock. That is the truth. I think he's a good director, but he is not as great as y'all pump him up to be. He really is not. And I wish we could have an honest conversation about him without the fanboys getting butthurt, because y'all love every single thing that James Gunn do. It's like he could do no wrong. And I can't talk to y'all on the internet because it's just like this fanboyism that y'all have is just fucking toxic. This was not a good script. We're not stupid. I feel my intelligence is being insulted when I go into a movie like this and I'm being open-minded and you're saying this. And again, I'm not trying to hang on every single word he's saying, but you are the guy leading the DCU. You and Peter Safran are leading this charge over the DCU. Stop with the bullshit, bro. I just don't like some of the decision making with this DC universe. Somebody has said on Twitter, James Gunn's DC universe is CW universe with a bigger budget. Ever since I saw that, I have not been able to wipe that off of my mind. That's what this universe feels like. Why is Supergirl the second movie in your DC universe? Why is a C plus B minus character your second movie in your DC universe? Supergirl should have been a side character that you developed through the movies. She should have been to Superman what Winter Soldier Bucky is to Captain America, what Falcon is to Captain America. You have to earn your movie when you're in a tier like that as a superhero. But Supergirl should have just been a side character. If you were going to make a movie for her, that should have came later down the line. This planning for the DCU, bro, I don't know. And then next, this was to be a Jamie Olsen show. Who gives a fuck about Jamie Olsen like that? Like, just make these side characters develop through the movies. They don't need their own shows and their own movies. Like, I don't get the planning with some of this stuff, man. And again, like, get mad at me what you want. Supergirl to me is a side character in Superman's story. She is a side character. I'm not saying she can't stand alone, but this movie didn't prove that at all. That's how I feel about Supergirl. That's how I feel about the state of DCU. For those of you that have seen it, tell me what you think. Do you feel better about the DCU moving forward with this movie, or do you feel worse? For those that haven't seen it, are you gonna go see it? I would say go see it for yourself. I'm just some random guy on the internet. Have your own opinion. We have definitely become a culture of people that rely a bit on the internet too much instead of just seeing things for ourselves. And if you're gonna try something yourself, have an open mind about it. Do what you want, or just wait till it comes to streaming. It's up to you. It's up to you. Like always, it's your boy Blurry Waters, and be easy.